Ooh, there it is.
Let it in.
Ooh, so folks, if you're listening here, this is Slightly Stupid. I mean, these guys can absolutely rock. And if Andy Westerberg, we used to call him Scooby. So we used to call Andy Westerberg Scooby for all my Central Michigan guys. They'll know. They'll remember Westerberg. And he took off to San Diego, California after his second year of college ball. This guy showed up with long hair down to his shoulders and longboarded to our first ever practice as college athletes. We're 18 years old. And he was so happy walking into practice the first day. And then we did a college practice where you got to run for a living, you know, and you get buried into the ground. And I don't think I've seen a guy change emotions from so happy to so distraught. And what did I just get myself into when he was buried in his locker after the first day of college practice? So, Scooby, if you're out there, man, I miss you. I love you. We were great once, kid. We were great. So there we go, folks. Welcome back. We got Coffee Buzz Friday tonight. We're doing a nighttime Coffee Buzz. So we had an extravagant day here today. We were up early, up and at 'em. We were at MASH. We had a lot. We were in front of a lot of people today.
A lot of people.
There were a lot of people. I don't even know how many people there would have been, but we did a morning. So we had a morning group come in, whatever it was, 20, 25 athletes or so. We did some mental mindset training with them, did some breath work with them, got them out of there. And then there had to have been, 50 to 60 athletes training at MASH Performance doing testing day. So they did testing day. We kind of worked the floor with them a little bit. The strength guys over at MASH were just killing it, having a blast.
Oh, the energy was just
really cool to see.
Pumping.
Yeah, it was really cool to see. Then we jetted out from there. We had some meetings, and then we went up to Blizzard Baseball, which is an awesome little baseball facility. I shouldn't say little, they're big.
Yeah.
Big baseball club. They've been around probably the long. I'm not a Minnesota guy. Neither are you. You're a North Dakota guy.
Yep.
But Nolan, Blizzard's been around for your whole life, really.
Yep.
So, 15 plus years or so. Adam Bardo's a good dude over there. So we went and worked with the Blizzard Baseball Academy over there for a little bit, and now we're back in the lab. And the boys wanted to finish it off with the Coffee Buzz.
What better way?
Yeah, and Slightly Stupid.
And some Slightly Stupid. Yeah. so nothing screams slightly stupid like a Coffee Buzz Friday.
There you go. So I had the other shout out of the night is on the way here to do Coffee Buzz, Paul Greenwood, who's my childhood best friend. We've known each other since we were 5. He told me that Coffee Buzz sucks. So he told me that he hates listening to him. He likes the podcast. And then he told me that he hates listening to Coffee Buzz. So his request, per request, and I urge everybody who does listen to these, give us some feedback. Let us know what you guys think. We'll try to change it up if we like the idea. If not, it's Nolan's fault. So send it into Nolan.
Right.
But his request was 4 minutes of conversation, 1 minute. Everyone on it has to give their answer.
Ooh, so like final answer time.
Yeah, so he said that there's too many times where we leave no answer in there.
Oh, okay.
He didn't like that.
Yeah, I like that. We could try it. Yeah, we could try it out.
So I think so no matter what, we have to one man has to stand on one side.
Right. We have to gavel down, time's up, here's our answer, final answer. Leave it up to Regis Philbin.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
So that'll be the job. Do you want me to? And I'll control the
you can.
pace
Yeah. I haven't controlled the time yet at all, and so it'd take me out of my routine.
Sure, you're right.
Yeah, I would ruin it. So.
Okay, so we'll go 4 minutes of conversation.
Yep.
I'll let you know when there's a minute. If we have to go a little further, we will go a little further into it. We'll obviously still be done at 5. But the key is that we have to walk away with an answer.
We have to submit an answer, mail it off, and wait for the results.
Said very thought-provoking. A lot of people have been complimenting Nolan as of late. Interesting.
I don't believe it.
Right.
Neither do I. It's probably those Russian chat bots that Nolan created.
Yeah, he's like a fake. Nolan's like he gets the fake Instagram followers or the bots.
Yeah, he pays them and
then he pays them to chime in through the.
They're like, we love the otter.
Yeah, the spirit animal.
Otter
Nolan
man.
Johnson, the otter.
Yeah.
Did a great job today. He kept it quiet pretty much the entire day, so he let Dave and I and Stevie and the boys work. So that was good. Keep doing your job, Noel, and ask the questions. Do you have a mic? Are you good?
Yeah, I'll yell it again.
Okay, did that come out all right the last time?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So here we go. We're going to do Coffee Buzz Friday for 4 minutes. We can discuss. Cheers, Davey. Let's have some fun.
Here we go.
And the last minute, we have to stand on one side of the fence. Go ahead, Noel.
Here we go.
What would the world be like if everyone spoke the same language?
Ready, go. What would the world be like if everybody spoke the same language? That's interesting because I've actually thought about this before.
Wow.
Yeah.
I literally have never thought about this before.
So I've thought about this before because I've thought about why do we have different languages? Like, why don't we all speak the same language? Right? Like, wouldn't that, like, how did we comprehend different languages? But then it's still, so now this is where my thought has come from. How are there different languages, and then how did they all match each other?
What do you mean match each other?
So how do you know, how does Spanish, Japanese, Chinese, whatever, English, how did they all, like, how does hello, how did we decide, like, hello is in multiple different languages? You know, that means hello.
I'm not following.
So, like why did we all decide, like, hello is the symbol of saying, like, this is a greeting?
Oh, yeah. Okay, I see what you mean. Yeah.
Like, how did everybody decide and then navigate through that and communicate to each other that this is hello?
Well, in English, it's hello.
Right,
but
then there's a hello, hola.
But that's like the greeting, right?
Right.
To them, it's an hola, or to them, it's a.
But but hola means hello.
Yeah, or does hello mean hola?
Right. So who decided that? That's what I think about.
So that's what's creepy about it.
It's very creepy.
So language is this weird, like, agreement, right? It's this weird, crazy agreement where I'm making these weird noises with my mouth, and they, like, enter your brain as, like, they cross this threshold.
And I understand them, or I don't understand them.
Yeah, and it, like, triggers certain images in your brain.
Right.
And then you get to experience, and you go, I know what you're talking about, or I have no idea what you're talking about. Which is bananas.
It's insane.
Yeah.
So then, but same concept. How do we know? How did an English person speak to a Spanish person and decide your hola means my hello? Because someone had to be bilingual.
A lot of trial and error, right? A lot of trial and error. Because, you know, if we didn't speak the same language, I would have to go cup, right? I'd have to point at it, and I'd have to say cup, and then you would say that, and then we would have to agree. Oh, okay, I see. So it all just probably started with a lot of trial and error.
So you would have to do, so cup, we'll say cupo is Spanish. I don't know what Spanish for cup is.
I don't know either.
But so you would have to say this is cup to me. Yep. And then you would have to go cupo or whatever, a different word.
Yeah.
And then we would have to take that back. Ingrain that into, we'd have to
and write it down. I think that's why, like, when we finally, like, started writing things down as human beings, because that's what a language allows us to do, was unbelievable. So here's the thing, like, if we all spoke the same language, we would still miss out on, like, a lot of like depth and a lot of meaning, you know, like even something as simple like as one book, right? And you translate it into many different languages, you get, like, different meanings and, like, different interpretations and even, like, different feelings, you know, like certain words in, say, like, Greek or Hebrew mean a little bit different, you know, something that we might not have a word for, and then so it allows us to feel something different. Does that make sense?
Do you think it's important to have different languages?
I think so. It's important to have different ways of describing things, and language is so important in being able to feel different emotions and feel different things and experience things, because that's not only how I communicate it to you, but that's how I communicate the world to myself.
So you're saying that it's important to have different languages?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, well, because even, like, there are, you know, they wanted to find, like, what makes a singer a great singer.
That was 4 minutes.
So
now you have to decide.
So what would the world be like if
we all spoke the same language?
I think it depends on the language, because we would miss out on a lot of things, because there's like a certain point of like, I think it's like Chinese Mandarin, that if you grow up speaking that, there's certain, like, pitches and volumes in your mouth and in your throat that, like, project you to be a way better singer. You know, so, like, a lot of great singers have, like, grown up speaking that certain way that's not familiar to us, but allows like different talents and like a lot of different things.
It's kind of like if you move down south and you're from the north, or I say A all the time now. And that's in Minnesota, Canada, like, hey, oh yeah, you know, and I say that, and now people don't even think it's weird. So I would say that it would eliminate cultural differences and environments across the country. If we all across the world, if we all spoke the same language.
And I think that'd be kind of a bummer.
It'd be a bummer. So I'd say it wouldn't be cool.
Right.
All right. Sorry, Paul. I hope we got that done in 5. That was weird.
That was a tough one.
But sometimes I feel like we do give our answers. So
we do.
Paul just being tough on
You know,
forget Paul. All right, here we go. Next one.
It's not let the haters dictate what we do.
Yeah, sure. Here we go, Noah.
Can you evaluate someone without judging them?
Okay, ready, go. Can you evaluate somebody without judging them? I would like to say yes, but I don't think that we do. I think that we internally, instinctively, I think that we do judge everybody, but judging has the negative confrontation. Like it's like almost like if you use the word judging, it's like a negative thing. But I think judging can also be, I'm just feeling you out. It doesn't mean that I have to be negative on it. It doesn't mean that I have to be judging, thinking that this is you're a bad person. I'm just kind of feeling you out.
Yeah.
But instinctively, I'm asking myself multiple times the first time I evaluate somebody or meet them, like, would I like this person? Speaking of language, what background do they come from? Do we align? Is there some synergies here? And that would be judging. It doesn't have to be a bad thing.
Yeah.
You know, you could judge somebody and not even like them, but not have anything against them either.
Yeah, and I think that's what we try to work towards is, can I evaluate your behavior and not like judge your worth as a person?
Yes.
You know, I think that's what we're trying to get at.
So do you think that judge is the issue of the,
I think
the question?
Well, I think for this sake of argument, judging is a little harsher.
Yeah, because judging makes you think you're a prick.
Right, yeah, judging is more about the person. Evaluation is about, are they fit, or I'm evaluating your performance, right? Not necessarily making a judgment of worthiness, which is completely different.
Right.
And so I would say that, and that's what science tries to do. It tries to evaluate the world without judging it, right? Without kind of like I guess another word would be biasing, right? We have so many biases, and that's what the scientific method is for, is to eliminate our biases so we don't judge things and we can sort of evaluate them
freely,
right? You know, and then and reduce our biases. But that's human nature. We're going to have our biases, so that's
science is not human nature. Oh, your science is not human,
right? Well, it's an attempt. Excuse me. It's an attempt to limit the biases, right? And that's the scientific method. Right. It tries to limit the biases and evaluate what's actually going on.
Yeah. So because science is trying to take out the human variable.
Yeah.
And that's where, and so Nolan's asking, can you do that? Can you evaluate without the human variable?
Right.
Can you do that without the human connection?
And that's difficult because then if it says, well, if that's a human variable, well, then we can't do that because we're humans.
Right.
You know, so then the question is, well, I think this is where like the advantage of like artificial intelligence and algorithms and computer analysis can evaluate people's behavior without judging it, right? It just gives us the pattern.
Yeah.
And then we judge it, but then then we know, then we can like sort of anticipate and evaluate the patterns.
So then that's where, but you use judging right there, and to my state, you use judgment as it wasn't a negative deal. Like if I use AI and it gives me data,
that's an evaluation.
But I have to, off a judgment, I have to decide to make another decision. And that's not so now if I'm judging AI, doesn't seem as bad, does it?
Yeah, I don't know. Because I guess then it goes into, well, to me, judgment is like a value judgment or a moral judgment or like a good or bad. Sure. Right? Like, instead of just being in the moment and, evaluating, well, this is what happens and A plus B equals C, we go, oh, C is bad because B is bad. You know, like it's a value judge. It's a good or bad versus well, here's just what we have.
Sure.
You know, so it's like
that was 4 minutes.
Wow.
It's quick.
So I would say
on you. That last minute, we're routine to have that 5 minutes. So
right.
Go ahead. So now make your answer.
Man, I guess in just 4 minutes, and I have to submit an answer.
Yeah.
I would say we can't, as human beings, evaluate without judging, because we're biased.
Yes.
And we're limited beings, so we have to have shortcuts, and judgment and pattern recognition is how we do that. And that's why we developed the scientific method, and that's why we love AI and algorithms, because it helps us make better decisions.
Oh, man, yeah, I agree with that. And I could but the only way of me trying to talk further in that would just try to judge you and try to evaluate myself to speak better than that. I think that was nails.
Yeah.
I think that as a human, the human condition is to judge.
Yeah.
And then deciding and dissecting through that.
Because we can only handle limited information, so we have to like make assumptions and make judgments and make value calls like fast.
100%.
Yeah, because we're just so limited.
100%.
Yeah.
Good answer.
Thank you.
There we go.
Yeah. A+ evaluation for you.
Yeah, this is tough, Paul.
Right. Yeah.
Just keep bringing it back to Paul.
Yeah, that 4 minutes comes quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, heard that.
What is love?
This guy.
Baby, don't hurt me.
What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. That is Night of the Roxbury. That's what that is. So that'll be so now I'm free to talk for 4 minutes.
There you go.
Last minute, I already have the answer. What is love? Dave, the only reason why, I've done this to you a few times. I got to put it on you purely because for people who don't know you but do listen to this, and people who do know you, you do talk a lot about how everything is about love and connection.
Yeah.
And I agree with that. But you have made that a principle of your coaching.
Yeah. So it's hard to answer, right? I think first of all we can agree that love is definitely an emotion.
Right.
Right. It's definitely a feeling.
Yeah, it's a feeling.
Yeah, it's a feeling that you have. It's definitely a certain chemical cocktail. Biologically inside your body, so we know it's like there's a biological component, there's an emotional component, there's definitely it's definitely like an agreement that people have, right? Like love is a value, something that we value. I believe that it's an emotional need that we have to have as human beings. Like it's almost like an energy that sustains us, because we live in a universe of energy. Yeah. You can't get rid of or exchange energy. You can only just replace it. So we're like, our planet is fueled on energy. Like we get energy from the sun, so I think it's a source of energy. And where it comes from or anything beyond that, it's difficult to pinpoint. So
do you get, as an energy, because you feel that internally, right?
Yeah.
So can you get love? Imagine if you were a human that was dropped off by yourself, and you're in the universe, you're in the energy, you're up in Alaska, right? You're by yourself in the middle of nowhere. Yeah. Can you understand love without humans?
Oh man, that's a good question. Well, I think so. There's so many people out there that get love from, say, their pets or their animals, or you feel connected to nature. Right. You feel connected to the universe. You feel connected to a higher power. You even feel love for yourself, right? So it's something about connection with something else. Yeah. And I think it is an internal process, and it's something that you do have to turn on in order to feel it. There's kind of like this saying, like when you tuck your kids into bed, right? And you love them, right? They're not. So here's the question: are they experiencing love from you? Yeah. Or are they finally allowing them, like opening it up within them, so they can feel it?
Right, because the energy source would be if you give somebody love but they don't receive it. Wouldn't there be there'd be a standoff? Yeah,
because there's definitely ways to block it, right, and to not allow yourself to feel it, right. Even
so, then you're ultimately giving love for yourself.
You're ultimately deciding to allow it. I would say
allow yourself to give love.
Allow yourself to feel it.
Sure.
Allow it. Let it in.
Yeah, and that's where we got a minute and a half left. And
great. I'm glad you're making me talk through all of these.
Well, and I was thinking to myself, I was gonna say that whenever a safe bet in this game is just send it over to somebody else.
Right.
And then you just kind of weather the right eye. In my case, it's the right eye of the clock.
And that's the advantage of having the clock.
Yeah, and weather the storm.
Yeah.
So we have about a minute left. The question is, what is love? I think that.
So you bring it home for us.
Yeah, I'll bring it home, and then you can kind of finalize through it.
Okay.
I think it's too often we spend so much time trying to figure out what is love instead of just understanding it's a simple concept of a feeling. And it is something of nature. There's biological, there's chemistry in your body that makes you feel love when you're connected. So find things that you're connected with, right? And whatever that is, you will know. Because you'll feel it.
Because you feel it.
Yeah. So then, and then all of a sudden it just becomes put yourself in more environments where you feel good, where you feel love, you feel whole, and you feel connected. And then that is what love is. It doesn't have to be in the literal sense of we hear love and we hear we think the arrow through the heart, Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
But I think love is connection. Love is wholeness, and it's connection of one.
Yeah, and it's gratitude, and it's,
And that's it.
And that's it.
So we agreeing? Where's your answer?
We don't have an answer. Yeah.
That was my answer.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll have to watch the tape again.
Yeah, I guess so. Put mine on a Hallmark card. Maybe that'll make us some cash. Here we go. Go ahead. No, here, let me get the mic to you.
Can you build your own self-esteem?
Can you build your own self-esteem? 5 minutes ago. Can you build your own self-esteem? I think that initially my first response is that's your own responsibility.
Yeah.
To build your own self-esteem.
Well, I think it's in the name self-esteem.
Oh, nice. I didn't think about that.
Yeah. So how do you hold yourself? What esteem do you hold yourself in?
Yeah.
So I think the question is then, well, who else's responsibility is it, and what happens if you rely on other people to do that?
Well, then it's fleeting. It's fleeting if you rely on somebody else to do that. It's like here's a great thing to ask yourself, because what does self want? The world wants, you think that you want a lake house and the Benz and the Bentleys and all the stuff. But then what happens when you get that? Right? Because then what? So then all of a sudden you look at, well, so much things are fleeting that aren't self. Everything that's outside of yourself is fleeting, right?
Yes.
Besides meaning.
Right.
So you have within that, sorry, Tony Vaca just called me. We got to get an actual clock, because I felt good about what I was going to say. But self, what was the question? Like your self-worth.
Build your own self-esteem.
Yeah, can you build your own self-esteem?
Yeah.
So what I mean by that is I think that that's an ongoing process that you'll never actually conquer or accomplish. I think you can conquer that. I don't think you'll ever get to the end result. And now take that deeper, like I just said, the lake house, the Benz, the cars. That is never self-esteem, I don't believe. I think that self-esteem is things like moralistic values and behavior. So you have work ethic or discipline or focus. Make that a priority of your process and human development. And you know that you're never going to maximize or conquer work ethic. You know that there's always a little bit more to add. So now your job is to continuously put things in front of you of meaning that have no end to. Like discipline can always get better.
Yeah.
Focus can always get better. Work ethic can always get better. So now if I have that a part of my moral code, my moral compass of developing my life, my journey, every day, if that's my focus, internally that you improved, if that's what you're working on. And now as you improve over time, your self-esteem is built from within.
Because you can look at yourself and go, look what I accomplished.
Yeah, and it's meaning. There's
I'm
meaning.
Useful.
Yeah, I'm
yeah.
useful.
I have meaning.
Yes.
I'm useful.
You know the tools that you have.
So good. So let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Does that level of self-esteem require some sort of achievement or some sort of movement in a direction?
Yes, but this is why this is point to my point. Because the achievement of discipline could be working on a garden, and disciplining yourself and every day continuously work hard to plant seeds.
Yes.
And then discipline the focus of the weather or understanding those certain things. And so the only way to understand achievement is progress of your own moral compass. So like knowing, okay, my mind wants to tell me that lie, and I beat that through discipline, and I know internally now that I've achieved.
Yeah.
Right? Whereas the achievement outside of self-esteem would be the fleeting lake house, boat, Benz, and Bentleys.
Sure.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because that can be ripped from you, or that could never happen. So now you could spend a lifetime of never having self-esteem, because that could never come to fruition.
Right. So we do give ourselves, we have a certain level of esteem for ourselves.
Yes.
Right. We have a certain level of, am I worthy as a human being? Right. Mm-hmm. And so there are sustainable ways to fill that, and there are unsustainable ways
to fill that. To stroke it. Yeah.
Right. And so and it's not so easily, right? So I guess you'd have to dissect for yourself what makes, who do you hold in high esteem, and why?
Right.
Is it because the things they have, or is it because the values they uphold, or is it the things they do? Like, what makes a human being worthwhile? And if you like sort of look at how you look at other people as maybe a role model or somebody that you like, that might help dissect maybe the rules you've created for how you hold yourself in esteem, but knowing that those are rules that you created.
Yeah, I mean, we have 20 seconds, so I'm going to give you 10 seconds of my answer. I think if you're building your own self-esteem, it needs to be on those sort of meaningful purposes of life. Work ethic, discipline, because then you can build your own self-esteem. You can build meaning. And whereas outside of my self-esteem, I can achieve great levels of success, but then it's only mirrored off of how you project it, which is fine. It can help. It can build my own self-esteem, but it doesn't. That's still projected on what you think.
Right.
That would be my answer.
That's good.
Okay, we went over. Sorry, folks. 5:15.
Sorry, folks.
What's the most significant discovery in human history?
What's the most significant discovery in human history? We just started. What's the most significant discovery in human history? Well, for one, I'd have to be a great historian to really know, to really dive into this. So because of that statement, I bought myself some freedom. So you can go deeper if you want to. But okay, yeah. Do you have something?
I was just going to share like where my first instinct went.
Mine went to planes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did yours go to?
Fire.
Oh man! See, now you win. Because I want fire.
I mean, that was way better.
Yeah.
Okay, or then you'll like this one. So my first one was fire, obviously, because I mean, changed the game.
It did.
Yeah. And then my second one was the greatest discovery. Yeah. So the greatest discovery then is like ourselves. It's like self-awareness.
Oh, you went deep on it.
I did. So number one is fire, right? Number two, this is where just my mind went. And then
self-discovery.
And then it's the discovery of the self. What do you got on that?
Well, I would say, why wouldn't that be? Yeah, so we figured it out. So there it is. The three most important discoveries in human history were fire, discovery of self, and planes.
And planes.
So there we go. We have the answer. We got the honor to laugh. It took us 7 or 8 episodes, whatever episode we're on, to get them to going, but this is good. So I would say, well, then why wouldn't that be number one? Why wouldn't self-discovery be number one?
I think it is. But my mind just went to fire, and then and then I thought of self-discovery.
So I guess the beauty of fire is the fact that it's been around forever, and it's utilized as like if right now in the most technical era that we know possible, still everyone wants or should know how to build a fire.
Right.
Because that's like survival tactic. Numero uno.
For sure, yeah. So, we listen to Jordan Peterson a lot, and he said that fire, there's a theory that fire is what allowed us to trade intestinal organs for brain matter. Because once we started being able to cook meat and cook food, it was like
the brain.
It was easier to digest, and therefore we were able to gain more brain matter, and we didn't have to spend so much energy digesting, because he said, like, if you look at like chimps, some sort of type of monkeys, they eat a lot of plants and leaves, and they have to chew all the time, and it takes forever to digest, and they kind of sit there and they have big guts and they just spend most of their time chewing.
Right.
And so he said that fire, cooking our food, our brain matter to grow.
Wow. So that would be part of self-discovery then too.
Yeah. So then maybe it would be fire, then self-discovery.
Oh wow! You knew what you were doing. Did you two get together before this?
No,
and set me up for this last question?
No chance, man. That's just
fair enough. So then now you pose an argument where I'm a big believer in fire now,
yeah,
which is awesome. But I would go on the
airplanes. Hey, they fly on fire, right?
Yeah, man. It takes fuel. Oh man.
So I'm gonna leave the final answer to you.
Okay.
Yep. So I've said my piece.
You said fire.
I said fire and self-discovery. I'll let you take the team home.
Well, I won't take fire then. I'll take self-discovery. Personally, man, I want to get deep right now, but I'm thinking about planes. So can't stop thinking about planes. No, I would say self-discovery. I'll go against fire and stick on self-discovery and say self-discovery. And I don't know if this is being pushed on me to answer this in 45 seconds, but I'll go with it.
Yeah.
Self-discovery is our greatest discovery on time, or human discoveries from time for being, because we have to evolve and transition with nature.
Yeah.
So no matter what, we've had to learn to live with nature. We've had to, through evolution, we create problems and then we solve the problems. I think that's the most interesting things of humans, is that everything is created out of a great cause, and sure enough, it ends up being a terrible cause.
Yeah.
So like you have social media was developed to help us communicate, and then 10 years later, none of us know how to communicate. So like we've obviously not been able to figure out how to solve all problems. But
we've solved a lot.
We've solved a lot of problems.
Mm-hmm.
So we're phenomenal at solving problems. And then we create problems, and then we try to solve them again.
Because we're self-aware.
And
we can self-reflect.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we can get in our planes.
Yeah, we can run away from our problems. Fly away from our problems. Yeah. There we go. I screwed that one up. I apologize. That one's going to be on me. I'll let that one sit.
That's outstanding. So
yeah, no, I'll wear that one. That was a tough one. I got beat up in the ring there.
Yeah, you panicked.
There. I did. I got nervous.
What happened?
I just got nervous.
Got nervous?
I got nervous because I thought you were making such a good argument, and then I wanted to prove you wrong.
Airplanes. Oh yeah, Dave. Yeah.
Well, whenever I fly, I just can't stop thinking like this is crazy. Like this is crazy.
No, true. One of some of the moments that I have the most gratitude for are like when I'm on an airplane.
Me too. So I do some of my deepest and best thinking on planes.
Yeah.
And I've also thought, and I've said on earlier podcasts back in the day about how I used to be really scared of flying, and Nolan was actually the first guy who flew with me when I was beating my fear of flying, and now when I fly, I almost think that that's like the most peaceful environment. Because there's nowhere else to be but there.
Right.
Like there's nothing else you can do.
Yeah.
So I've just always found that very peaceful.
It's pretty incredible.
It's insanely incredible.
It's insane to think about like the most successful or richest like kings or pharaohs back in the day.
Had no shot at
flying. They would have traded their whole kingdom for an airplane.
Right.
And we get mad. We get like, oh man, I didn't get it. I have to sit in the middle for 2 hours.
You tell me I have to leave the carry-on here?
Right.
What do you mean?
One person is allergic to peanuts. Now none of us can have any.
I was going to say, before we even started this podcast, my dad used to bring home free peanuts all the time after flying. I would eat all the peanuts.
Yeah.
And now you can't eat peanuts.
Now you can't do that anymore.
It's an absolute human discovery that we got to figure out next.
Right.
How do we solve the peanut problem?
Yeah. Non-peanut peanuts.
Yeah, there we go. Non-peanut peanuts. So
let's
get that slightly stupid back on the thing, and boys will jam here into the weekend. You guys have a good night and good weekend, and thank you for joining in. This was a tough one, having the answer. I feel like we do answer some of them. Like I said, Paul is a he's basically he's a brother to me, so he's going to keep it tough on me, which I want.
Yeah.
Feedback is good.
We thrive on feedback. Keep it coming, folks.
Keep giving us feedback. Listen to Slightly
And we're going to leave on a jet plane, the most important discovery in human history.
Well.
That John Denver is full of